Hi guys, I'm coming you live from my couch. It has been a long first day. It was great. I know I look tired, but I actually enjoyed it. Today we had a regular scheduled day. Tomorrow is Wednesday, so it's early release, but today was a regular day and it was great. I love our schedule, especially after going through it today. Okay, so my schedule looks like this. They come in at 9. We're supposed to be there by 8:30. And then my students go to specials about 10:50 and they're there for 45 minutes. They come back, we're with them for about 20 minutes. Not really, because we have to get ready to head to lunch, which is another 40 minutes. And while we're at lunch, they are at recess and having lunch. And then we pick them up and we are with them until 2:25, and then they go to recess for 15 minutes, come back, and then we get them for about an hour, which actually less than an hour, because now we have to prep to go home earlier because today was crazy. I usually take the kids to get picked up by the parents, and last year was the first time I did it, and it was crazy because we take both our classes, and so last year my partner took the bus kids and I took the ones that were getting picked up or siblings were going with them. Espera, por favor. Espera. She just broke something. This is why we don't have nice things. Today was extra special because actually I don't know, it felt really extra special. I do have this cute little, I think it's a hair thing. I think he meant to give it to me as a bracelet, so I shall wear it, and if it needs to be a hair thing, it will be a hair thing. Got that, and a little girl gave me the sweetest gift, and it really wasn't was in it, but the fact that she went and picked these things out for me, and she spent her own money. For a first grader to spend their own money is a big deal, because I mean, even if she got that for her birthday, like, that's special. So that was really cool. And then she gave me a Target ruler, which I was looking for, and I never went to back. I never could find it when I went back, so I was excited about that. And then she got me this ruler mug, which I'll show you in my next video or tomorrow. Anyhow, she got me those two things, some chocolate, and she made me a bunch of drawings, which were so cute. Sorry, I had to stop that because my daughter wanted another snack. I hope you can hear me. I'm sitting here with my daughter, and in order to record and be able to tape this, I have to keep her busy. Don't judge me. I never let her watch TV, but today I am tired. It is the first day, well, it was the first day of school. I just got home. My voice is really raspy. I don't feel like I used it very much, but nonetheless, it's raspy. I know my allergies are kicking in though, because I can feel it in my nose. Feeling like right up here. Anyhow, today I had big plans. Last night I was like, I'm gonna wake up early. I'm going to film my first day of school. I'm gonna record everything while I'm getting ready, and big plans. Well, if you're watching this is the first part of my video, so I didn't do any of it. Sorry. But I will say I had a great first day. Honestly, me and my partner stepped out for specials time, and we looked at each other, and I'm like, right? It's great. I mean, we don't want to jinx ourselves, but we had a rough year last year, and I feel like we're just trying to have a good one. Anyhow, We are doing great today. I mean, I know it's just one day and we have 179 more to go, but let's be optimistic. You know, it doesn't hurt anybody. So, anyhow, I am going to talk to you about our day. This morning, I got there super early. Totally not like me. I'm serious. I don't know what's wrong. I think just getting up early from those trainings at the PLC um, ruined me. I'm just kidding. It's actually a good thing. I think it's going to be helpful if I could continue this, that maybe I'll start to work out or something, because I do need to. But so this morning we got there. I took my son. He's going into 3rd grade. And I did some last minute labels because our class list wasn't finalized until really late last night, and I had plans again to go to bed. I usually put my daughter to bed and she's hard to put to bed. So I planned I'll put her to bed and then I'll get up and go print all these things. Well, I passed out. I was tired. I mean, I've been at it for a while, and I think these last few days I went at it a little harder, so it's a lot harder to wake up from my really tired nap slash sleep. But I'm glad I didn't get up because I think I would have stayed up really late. Let me focus. This morning I did labels. I finished a banner for my son because he always gets left behind. So I made a little banner for him, took his first day picture, 3rd grade. I can't believe that. Freaking me out still. Cleaned up my space. Got my communicator folders all done. I had started them yesterday, but I didn't get them finished. I had to run some more labels, which I forgot about. So then that's what I did this morning. And then what did I do? It's a blur, guys. It's a blur, but it was a good blur. Like, I had a great day. I brought in some really cute little cookies. I'll have to show them to you. This cookie lady, that's what she's like. She's under in my phone. My cookie lady is awesome. Anyways, I got some cookies and I just gave them out today for first day of school. And then I reviewed my lesson plans to figure it out, make sure all my papers were in order so that I'm not looking for things frantically. School started. I went to pick up my kids. I only had one student who was crying, but Mom said she was nervous to begin with and she had cried in kindergarten, so I took no offense to that. But really, I got her into the classroom and then she was fine, so that was nice. I felt like accomplished because I had a little girl smiling at the end of the day and not wanting to go home, and that's perfect. We got in class. I didn't do calendar, to be honest. I forgot, and it was not in my plans. I don't think. I can't remember, but I think I started tomorrow and did a little how did you get to school activity, and then how are you going home. So walking on the bus, did someone drop you off, or did you come on your bike? So I had to move to a more quiet area, my craft room, because my daughter is trying to get into the video and doesn't let me make a good, decent video. It looks like all over the place. But anyhow, I was talking about my schedule. So teachers are required to be in their building by 8:30. At 9 is when students start coming into our classrooms, or we start class. And this morning I started off with teaching expectations, like how to sit in a chair. And I know that might seem like, well, why would you even teach that? But I think as teachers, we just assume that they know what we expect. And honestly, I think we forget that we are pretty picky about our expectations. And when we don't teach them, we can't blame our students for not knowing, because even if they know how to sit in a chair, it might not be the way we want them to sit in a chair. So I taught my students how to sit in a chair, how I expect them to be sitting. And quite honestly, I think it was the first time I've ever done it. I mean, when I taught kindergarten, I did teach them how to sit in a chair, but that was their first time being in the school, at least for most of my class in other areas that I taught. So yes, I taught them how to sit in their chair, and now they know my expectations. The next thing we did was how do they get home and how do they get to school. So first, how did they get to school and how will they get home? And it was just kind of like something to make them feel a little more welcome. They know how they got here and it's not so hard. We did a little graph. We counted how many. I have a lot of, I guess not walkers, but parent pickups. And I mean like 3 bussers. So the majority of them were parent pickups. The other thing that we did was we read, well, after that, it was time to go to specials, and today they had PE. They loved PE, so they were excited. During those 15 minutes, I taught them what is expected of them during lunchtime, and that they only have 15 minutes to eat, and after that, they can go play. So if they're talking during their lunchtime, they're gonna go to recess, and yeah, it's gonna be fun, but later they're gonna be hungry. So I just said, like, if your partner's talking to you, it's okay to tell them, I need to eat. Can you please talk to me at recess? I know that sounds so grown up, and I don't know what kid's done that, but I just told them, like, it's okay to tell them, you know, please stop. I'm trying to eat. Because then now your brain is just thinking, I need to eat so that I can learn. So then we went to lunch, and it was my lunchtime. I picked them up, and it only took us a little bit to find some lost kids. Not lost, but still playing on the playground, or they went back to their old pickup spot. After that, we did some reading. We read The Kissing Hand in Spanish, so Un beso en la mano, and then we did a little craft, which is like one of my favorite things. It's something that doesn't really require a lot of on the student's part, but we paint their hand, and then we put it on a little sheet with a poem and a little sticker, a heart sticker, which I usually save from Valentine's Day cards because we don't usually use them, especially for my kids. It's just one more thing. So I add that in the center, and it just goes home, and it's just a connection with the book, and just saying, like, if you miss me like I missed you today, this is what you can think. And it's not so much pressure, I guess, for the kids, but I feel like it helps them feel better about their day. Even like the little girl who was crying today, I think this book really helps her feel better. Like, it's okay to miss my mom, and it is. I mean, I'm pretty sure I miss my mom. You know, it doesn't matter. I think it's hard. Like, my kid's in school, and I think this was the year I was the busiest that I couldn't even think about missing him until lunchtime, when I was freaked out and I was like, oh no, I think I forgot to pack him a lunch. But then I remembered he wanted to eat at school. So, whew. But I had a parent send me a message saying that that was the cutest thing. So I feel like I shall continue sending that out. It's just something I used to do in kindergarten, and I really liked it. I continue to send it, and I think parents appreciate little handprints whenever they can. I love handprints, and anything I usually send out as a keepsake is something that I would love to receive as a parent. So if it's, I don't know, I guess if it's not worth sending, I don't send it out. and I don't make a big deal about it, and we just do it and they can take it home. But it's not like, oh, by the way, I sent you a little something, please make sure you get it. I really should have brought stuff, but I just did not want to bring anything with me. And I will have to probably show it to you later. I'll just do a video of this is the stuff that we did. We did a first grade crown. So not a first grade, a first day crown. They write their name, they write the food that they ate, and then they draw a picture of themselves, a picture of their teacher, and a picture of their school. So in their school, our mascot is an owl. So they just drew an owl, and I Googled how to draw an owl because I don't know how to draw an owl. And when I did my example, I told them, you guys can do the same one. If you know how to draw an owl, do it on your own. And then they also got to draw a picture of a friend that they did not know. I did take pictures. I always take pictures of my students on the first day. And I did a little banner, which I was making on one of my classroom setups. And all it says is primer, a little star in the middle, and grado. And then they just held it. And I plan to do that same picture at the end of the day with maybe a second grade one. I just came up with that in my head. I was planning to just use the same one and use it on the last day, but I feel like the second grade, now that I think about it, second grade banner might be a stretch because it's still this whole summer, and yes, they're going to second grade, but let's hang on to being first graders for just a little bit longer. So I do the pictures. Okay, let's be honest. I can't do all that stuff. So I had a para actually come in today. She did all the painting. I had another one, and she did the pictures and also put away my supplies because, you guys, I was like blown away by how much stuff these kids brought. Like, I couldn't believe it. So I definitely have enough not Ziploc, actually I do need Ziploc bags, but I definitely have enough Kleenex probably for the whole school. Like, honestly, I got so much Kleenex. It's almost bedtime and my kids like to hang out. You can hear them. Oh my gosh. They're supposed to be getting in the shower, but when no one is watching them, they go crazy. Anyhow, we'll ignore that noise in the background. So I have the Nikki folders that I use that have the take home, and then the other side is return to school. So I just use that to communicate with parents. If you have any notes or anything that needs to come back to me, you put in here, and they just send me a Class Dojo message. And I mean, I just make sure that it's in there. But I do check them daily, and then in November, I might do it sooner. I start giving the responsibility to another student and just taking out whatever papers and telling them, like, they need to be in your backpack. That means they've been in there for a while. I am sorry about my voice. It seemed to leave me on Thursday early in the morning, and that was our first day of school. Anyhow, today was our second day of school, and it was a longer one, I think, than the first day, and today was actually a short day. So I don't know what that says. But it's been good. I really have enjoyed it, and this group of kids is really good. I mean, I get it. Sometimes they go through the honeymoon stage, but right now I'm feeling really positive about it. So I'm actually heading home right now. It's close to 5, but I wanted to get on because this is probably the only time I'm gonna be able to do it. Because when I get home, my kids just want to love on me, and I can't not reciprocate it. So I'm picking up a Walmart pickup right now, and then I will get back on before each transition. But also for me, it was really important to teach them the basics. I know that we, as teachers, have different expectations than other teachers, and we can't just assume that the students already know how they're supposed to act or how they're supposed to do things in our classroom if we have not taught them ourselves. So I taught them how to use a chair, I taught them how to use scissors, how to use pencils, their crayons, where to put their things away, what I expect of them while they're in the classroom, and how to treat other students around them. Yesterday I got notice that I was going to get a new student today, so I did. And she showed up this morning. It was good because she showed up early and I was able to take her and show her around before she actually got into the classroom when I have less time to give to her. I also have a new student, or had a new student on the first day who wasn't here the previous year. And again, I had mentioned earlier that in our dual language classrooms, those students go in cohorts to the different grades. So there are 2 different classes in kindergarten, but in first grade, they don't stay together. So whoever was in class A and class B in first grade, they mix them up and it's now class A and class B, which is a different mix of kids. And this is actually really helpful because although they know each other, it's good that they mix them for the language and they're able to collaborate with new students that are learning the same thing and have different experiences from the different teachers. So in my class, I think we have somewhat of an even split. I think I definitely have more English speakers than native Spanish speakers, and some of my ELs aren't very strong in the Spanish language, so sometimes I have to pair them with a native English speaker who has acquired that language from kindergarten. And that's just what happens. Sometimes we have really high Spanish speakers, native Spanish speakers. Sometimes they test and they get labeled as ELs, but their Spanish isn't as strong because I think they just haven't had the same exposure as other students. And again, I mean, households are different, so we get a mix of students. Even if they are ELs, they could come with no Spanish and still be labeled as an EL, and we just as teachers figure out how we're going to partner them with other students so that they can both benefit from each other. Of course, our partners aren't partnered together for the rest of the year. We change them out as they acquire more and more language and kind of help out where we need to fill that gap. As for today, we have a short day. Wednesdays are early release days so that we do PD in the afternoons. But today was our first Wednesday, so we got it to ourselves. And this morning we had SOAR rotations, which are the expectations that we are teaching our students instead of specials. We talked about expectations in the hallway, in the cafeteria, and on the playground. And we just kind of did a rotation through our school. So all of the grades actually did this today instead of specials. And the specialists were the ones who delivered that presentation to them. I guess it was more like a little talk. During that time, we're just standing there with them and listening, making sure, just because the presentations are done in English, so we kind of give them an overview in Spanish if there's a lack of understanding. After that, we got back, we worked on a All About Me page, and I forget, like, these pages are easy to do. I mean, they're simple pages, but when you're learning 2 languages, it's a little harder. So I had to stop and do an anchor chart for a few of those fill in the blanks because I can't expect them just to fill it in with whatever, and I need to be intentional about it. So I did some sentence frames and we worked on it together. We made a little anchor chart with some possible answers, and we all participated in answering. I had a little moment where it reminded me of what I had learned, because I told them, all right, I want somebody to give me some, or tell me something that you like. it was something I like is, and they're supposed to tell me in Spanish, algo que me gusta es, or actually it was me gusta, and they're supposed to fill in the blank. So I like fill in the blank. And I had like one student who raised their hand, and then the rest I was calling on, and I realized I had messed up. So I told them, you know what? I went to a training this summer and I'm not doing what I learned. So I said, let's start over. I said, because this is new to me again. After a summer off, it's hard to go back to your routines because you haven't done them in so long. So we started over, and I said, I'm going to give you a sentence frame, and then we're going to practice this with a partner. And as I was saying that, I thought I'd never showed them what I expected of them when they're talking to a partner. So then I had to stop what we were doing and practice how to talk to a partner. I made a poster for my partner and I, because our class is a little bit of Bitmoji stuff. So I made Bitmoji posters of us and explained to them what I expected them to do, and then we modeled it. I modeled it with another student, one of my chatty ones, so that he was able to be successful when he had that opportunity to do it with a partner. And then I had them practice with this sentence stem that we needed to do to fill out this paper or this page. And I was really happy about that because I feel like as teachers, we are like, oh, let's get this done, and it's okay to mess up, and it's okay to have to start over. I mean, if we don't do it in front of our students, then how are they going to feel comfortable doing it in front of us? And I just told them, like, sometimes we have to stop what we're doing and regroup or figure out what it is that needed to be better. And I feel like that part of the lesson went way better after I modeled all those things, which are things that I should have done, but my mindset is on how first graders are at the end of the year. I'm still trying to think about, it's still hard for me to think about kindergartners who are becoming first graders because I was in the other end of it for so long, and then it was summer. So it takes a little bit of just, I think, evaluating my teaching so that it's better for my students now in the phase in which they are, which technically they are still kindergartners, and I should treat them like kindergartners until I have laid out all my expectations. So moving forward, I just have to tell them, like, there might be things that I just think you know, and I have to stop and teach you those things. And so some of our activities may be activities that are supposed to take 15 minutes, but are taking a little longer because I want to make sure that you are successful. And I mean, they're not like, oh yes, yeah, I get it. But I feel like because they were successful, they enjoyed the activity a little more. And while they were working, I was walking around and just making sure that everyone was on task. If they didn't understand it, then I would help them. But even, I mean, I had a few groups that were a little chatty, sharing about themselves, which was part of the task. Is when you're done, go ahead and share with the partner. You want to get to know your table, and it just makes it funner when you know the people around you. Sometimes it makes it harder for the teacher, but it makes it funner and easier for you to learn as a learner. So that went well after I revised my teaching, or, you know, really thought about it and fixed what I needed to, or I guess correct what I needed to do. And I just kind of wrote it down in my lesson plan, because we forget when we're creating these lesson plans what we're getting into at the beginning of the school year. After our activity, we went to lunch. We picked them up, and then today I actually had a little activity, not really an activity, more like a special snack for our students. My partner and I, we combined our students after lunch, and we just, before we brought them in, pulled them to the side, and we sat down under a tree in the little shade area that we had. And I got a bunch of watermelons. My father-in-law had brought some watermelons, and he said they're gonna go bad if someone doesn't eat them. So I was like, oh, I'll take them. I'll take them to my class. We'll have a little like celebration. I'm all about celebrating our successes, and I feel like we gotta motivate our kids. I mean, we need to like feel motivated too. And I told them we made it past the first day. Today is an early release day. We've already made it halfway through our day, so we're gonna celebrate. And we did, and we ate some watermelon, and they were, some kids had never had watermelon, which totally blows my mind, because I would have thought, I mean, I always think of watermelon as like a summer fruit, and I eat it a lot in the summer. But there were some kids who hadn't had watermelon before. Some didn't really prefer to eat it, or don't really like it, and there was a few who were like, I don't want watermelon, I'm good. So must do something to them. After that, we went inside and we started prepping for the end of the day. Like I said, today is an early release day, so it was a pretty short day. Our afternoon, we had a quick stand-up meeting, and it was just kind of to give us the breakdown on how our first day went, how many kids we have in our building, and if we're getting more students, because there is a max to our building, but also a new school just got built, and so they're trying to figure out who's gonna get what numbers. So far we're on the low end. Before we used to have about 800, I want to say. I could be wrong, but I want to say it was a lot. And this time we have 707. And so, I mean, 707 to close to 800 is pretty significant. That's about 3 or 4 classes depending what the ratio is. And then in the afternoon, my partner and I got together and we planned out our following week. We just wanted to plug in all of the times and then things that we had already planned to do, so that we could start sending print shop. Print shop in our building is through an app that's on our computers, and so it's digital, and we have to be prepared. We can't just be like, oh, let's make a copy and send it, because it's not that easy anymore. And our lounge is pretty far from our classroom, so we do have to be prepared. But we got our lessons done for the next week and started for the following week, and so now we just got to figure out our print shop. But I feel like it's been successful, and I hope it continues. I've been waking up super early. I'll say I am not a morning person, but I've been doing it, and I'm so happy, and that's a celebration that I want to celebrate today. So we've been going in earlier, my son and I, and tomorrow on Thursday is my middle child's, my Diego's, first day of kindergarten. So I hope to be there early, but it's a special day, so if not, we might just go and get a special snack or something in the morning. Yeah. And hopefully he has a good day. I'm really excited for him. I know he's super excited, and as a teacher, I just have to sneak off for a little bit, and I just ask someone to cover me, because I can't be there for my oldest and not for the rest of my kids, even if I'm in the same building. It just doesn't make sense. I'd rather lose 15 minutes of my planning or pay or whatever they need to do so that I can be there for him. So I'm excited. Let me know if you guys want to see anything in my classroom. Again, I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to record with my students there, and I don't really want to record while they're working, or I guess record them working, but I do want to like take pictures and record their conversations, because I think it's something that would benefit other dual language teachers and teachers in general.